What's up guys, good morning, hopefully you're all doing well. So I thought I'd do a special little video this morning, talking about what was one of my, what used to be one of my favourite holiday camps, in Great Yarmouth, and obviously talking Great Yarmouth in general. So Vauxhall Holiday Park, for me, used to be one of my favourite holiday parks. And it used to be one that we as a family would always try to put up for the most every year when we went away. You know, we would always try to either put up for Vauxhall Holiday Park or put up for California Cliffs. But obviously they weren't always available, so we had to go for a different holiday camp. And we have stayed at, various different holiday camps within Great Yarmouth, when we've not been able to put up for, holiday camps that we're more familiar with, like Vauxhall and obviously California Cliffs, because they do get booked up very quickly, because they are the most popular holiday camps here in the UK, but I wouldn't say that for Vauxhall so much anymore. Obviously, as I was looking at the reviews the other week for Vauxhall, and I noticed that there were a lot of complaints. A lot of people were saying it was very dirty and run down. They were saying that Park Dean Resorts were running it into the ground. Obviously, Park Dean Resorts took over the ownership several years back, and things have seemingly gotten worse for Vauxhall Holiday Park since then. I think the one thing that I used to like about Vauxhall Holiday Park was the nostalgia. Was the nostalgic vibe that you always got every time you went there. Like every time you came onto the Vauxhall Holiday Park, onto the holiday camp, you would always get such a nostalgic vibe. But a lot of what I've seen on a lot of the reviews, a lot of people used to go, have been going there for the same reasons, because they love the nostalgic vibe that you get. There is, whenever you used to go to Vauxhall, there was always that sense of nostalgia there. But from what a lot of people have said, is that the nostalgia, you just don't get that sense of nostalgia anymore. You don't like the nostalgic vibe that Vauxhall Holiday Park once had. It's gone. It's just not there anymore. There's no vibe there. Not like there used to be. And it's sad to hear that, there's so many problems at Vauxhall now, because there never used to be. Going back years ago, Vauxhall was one of the best holiday camps in Great Yarmouth. And it was one of the most popular holiday camps. Now all you'll see when you look online is reviews from people saying that they won't be going back there. And it's sad to see reviews like that, because, when you think about how good Vauxhall used to be, and now you're seeing reviews from people saying they won't be going back there because it's just it's just way too expensive now. Obviously they got rid of Louis the Lion, and it's now, obviously, since Park Dean Resorts took over, it's now Sparky and Sparkle the Rabbit at Vauxhall. Again, it's it was never, as far as I can remember, it was never Sparky and Sparkle the Rabbit. It was always Louis the Lion. That was Vauxhall Holiday Park. That's what people always knew it as. It was always Louis the Lion. It was never Sparky and Sparkle the Rabbit. If you wanted Sparky and Sparkle the Rabbit, then go down the road to California Cliffs. If you want Louis the Lion, go to Vauxhall. That's what it always used to be. That's why I loved Vauxhall so much as a kid. Because, back in the day when it was, I don't think they probably don't do this anymore, but when it used to be Louis the Lion, what they used to do in the evenings when they had Louis the Lion come out on stage, the first thing they would do is they would get all of the kids to line up behind Louis the Lion, and they would do a conga line around the clubhouse, and they would get, it would go right the way around the clubhouse back to the stage. And it was really, that was one of the best things I remember as a kid, was always being in that conga line around the club, dancing behind Louis the Lion, singing Louis the Lion, he's the greatest friend you can rely on. Like, people love Louis the Lion. You know, they really did. And obviously, even I did as a kid. So it's sad to know that Vauxhall Holiday Park doesn't have Louis the Lion anymore. Because that's what it always used to be. And that's how I always remember it. You know, I don't ever remember it as being, Sparky and Sparkle the Rabbit. I only ever remember it as being Louis the Lion. And I think that's how I'm always going to remember Vauxhall. Is I'm always going to remember it best for having Louis the Lion, not for having Sparky and Sparkle the Rabbit. To be honest, looking at some of the reviews, judging by some of the reviews I've seen, I don't think that I would want to pay for a holiday there. When you're seeing some of the reviews, it doesn't make you think, oh, I must book a holiday there, ASAP. It makes you think, oh, no, I don't like the sound of that. I don't know if I want to book, if I want to take the risk of putting a holiday there. I remember there was a review on there. Someone said that they had bed bugs in their caravan, and they went to the reception to ask to be moved. And I think that from what I remember, the reception refused to move them. And they sent apparently they sent an exterminator out, and the exterminator was saying that they could only find dead bed bugs, like they weren't finding any live bed bugs. But the guests who obviously wrote the review was saying that they knew that there were live bed bugs in there because they had felt them crawling on them, during the night. But so it's like, who's live? It's one saying that they know that there's live bed bugs in there, but the exterminators were saying that they'd only found dead bed bugs in there and not live ones. So what was the actual truth there? I don't know. Great Yarmouth, for us as a family in general, is a place that holds a lot of special memories for us of holidays in years gone by. I think, if we go away next year, it will be quite a big deal for us. Obviously, it will be our first family holiday in about 6 years. But also, because it will be our first family holiday without my granddad, obviously it will be our first family holiday since he passed away last year. Obviously, the last time we went away in 2019, he was with us. And in fact, I'm actually sitting here now. I'm actually struggling to remember a holiday where he wasn't with us. The only holiday I can remember him not being with us was when me, my mum, and my sister went for a week's holiday at Hayster. I think it was during the October half term about 10, 11 years ago. And that was like the week from hell. Because at that time, Hayster was very run down. It was very, there was a lot of improvements that needed to be made. It was very different to how it is now. When you look at the website now and you look at Hayster now, you wouldn't think it was the same holiday park that we went 2 years ago. It looks so much better there now. It looks so much more livelier and more vibrant, and it looks more attractive than it ever did before. It's amazing to think about the work that's been done on Hayster and the way that it's been changed. It's completely transformed from being a complete rubbish dump it was years ago to being one of the most impressive holiday camps I've seen in a long time here in the UK. And I think a lot of people have not regretted booking a holiday there at Hayster. I've seen a lot of people actually recommending that people book holidays at Hayster, which wouldn't have been the case years ago. People would have been writing reviews and would have been recommending people, telling people to avoid it at all costs. But these days, I think Hayster, things are looking a lot better and a lot more positive for Hayster than they were years ago. Years ago, Hayster was a complete rubbish dump that I would say was in danger of being shut down at some point. But, it looks so much better there now, compared to how it did years ago. As I said, Great Yarmouth for us as a family holds a lot of special memories. We love the seafront. We love going into Great Yarmouth, into the town, walking along the seafront, up to the seafront, going in all of the gift shops. You can't go to Great Yarmouth and not buy anything in the gift shops. It's undoable. You have to buy something from the gift shops. They also have like this rock shop there as well. I don't know if it's still there. There used to be one there. It was called Doctor's. And you could go to this shop and you could actually watch them actually making the rock, like the sticks of rock that you buy in like the gift shops and that. You could actually watch them making that. And I always used to think that was so cool. How you could actually stand there and watch these sticks of rock being made. Doctors. I used to love Doctors. I don't know if it's still there now, but it used to be it was one of our, well, it was always one of our favourite shops. It was always one of the first shops that we went to as soon as we got into Great Yarmouth. We knew we had to visit Doctors. We couldn't not go into the town centre and not visit Doctors. We always used to have to visit that shop because it was one of our favourites. We always used to buy some sweets in there and some fudge. And some boxes. So I used to use the boxes of seaside biscuits in there as well, and we used to like getting them. We used to get them every time we went down to Yarmouth. We also used to go into Norwich quite often, as Norwich is not that far from Yarmouth, so we always used to go into Norwich from time to time. We went into Roma. I think we've only ever been to Roma twice. I remember when we went as a kid. I don't have very good, very like happy memories from there as a kid. I remember we had to move tape when we went there. When I was like 6, 7 years old, about 7, 8 years old at the time, and we had to move tables because we were trying to drink our drinks, but we had wasps flying around our drinks. And we were getting bothered by these wasps, so badly that we had to move to another table. And then I wouldn't get on the bouncy castle. They had like this big bouncy castle there, and I wouldn't get on it because the bouncy castle was literally smothered in ladybirds. And I'm still not a big fan of ladybirds even now. And I wasn't a big fan of them back then. And it was just like, my mum would say to me, they're not going to hurt you, but I just wouldn't set foot on it. But we went there last time we went to Yarmouth, and it was much better there. I have more happier memories of home at that time than when I did when I was a kid. I always used to like the donkey rides as well, on Yarmouth Beach. I used to like Hemsby is also quite a nice place. Hemsby is a place that we love going to every time we go down to Yarmouth. It's like we can't not visit Hemsby. We always love to go into Hemsby and go to the gift shops and go down to the beach. The weather's nice. I mean, the thing is this is the thing about Great Yarmouth, is it's like you're spoilt for choice for things to do there. I can't say there's nothing to do in Great Yarmouth because there is, like, you've got the Norfolk Broads. You can hire a boat out and take it along the Norfolk Broads. We did that one year, and my granddad almost crashed a flipping boat. I remember one day we went on this trip, and they had this like big boat. And we went on this big boat along the Norfolk Broads, and they actually had some like myself and a few other kids on the boat, and what they did is they allowed the kids to actually come up to the front of the boat and actually have a go steering the boat. And I was like Captain Perry for a little while, steering the boat. Like, it was fun. On Great Yarmouth seafront, you've got quite a few different little things there. You've got obviously Joyland, which is right at the start of the seafront, along just before you go on to Britannia Pier. You've got obviously the small family-run amusement park, Joyland. Joyland isn't very big. It'll probably be in and out of there within about an hour, tops. Maybe not even that, depending on what rides you actually want to do. You'll be in and out of there in half an hour, But it's still a nice little holiday park, a little fair theme park to visit, if you're ever in the town centre. Obviously, normally I think it's mainly in the summer though. Definitely not this time of year, but in the summer they have the horse and carriages running along the seafront. They have the little seaside trains that run along the seafront as well. They have, I think, 2 of them. that run along the seafront every day. They even have an open. I don't think that it'd be running during this time of the year, but they usually have an open top bus as well. They started running an open top bus up and down the seafront as well. So, but we don't really see that now. But obviously, you don't really see that during the winter, which is understandable. And I mean, nobody really goes down to Yarmouth during the winter months, do they? Unless they're nuts. But to be honest with you, I don't think I would want to be staying in a caravan at this time of the year because they must be freezing, like especially in the morning. I mean, obviously going away during the summer isn't too bad because the caravans don't get so cold. You know, it's like, but obviously, as I said, going back to the seafront for a moment, if you walk a bit further down the seafront, you actually have the pleasure beach, which is the biggest theme, but the bigger theme park or the bigger fairground there. And you can actually spend a good few hours there. There's a good variety of rides there for kids of all ages, whether that be young kids, teenagers, young adults. It's sport for choice, really. And being there for a good 3 or 4 hours, if you really wanted to be. I would definitely recommend going to Vauxhall, going to, the Pleasure Beach. You've also got Pleasurewood Hills as well, which is not too far away. I think the good thing for us, like, whenever we went away, it's obviously my granddad used to come with us. And whenever we wanted to go somewhere, he would drive us there in the car, which was always an added bonus. Obviously, I used to use it for the shopping as well. It's obviously the first thing that my granddad would always do on a Saturday. As we used to, mainly we always used to book the Saturday to Saturday, so the 7 days. And on the Saturday when we got there, the first thing they normally used to do after they'd unpacked and everything in caravan was go down to the Asda supermarket next to Great Yarmouth Station and buy a load of shopping and then come back fit in the car, obviously which is something they won't be doing now, because obviously we don't have the car now. And obviously my granddad has now passed away. It will be nice if we get to go back to Great Yarmouth next year, and hopefully, there won't be anything that stops us from being able to do that. We had originally planned to go to Great Yarmouth this year. We've been talking about it last year. We had said that we was on the book up for this year, but then, obviously there were a few things that kind of happened which prevented us from being able to book that holiday. One of those things obviously being that my sister decided to tell us in March that she was back in March that she was pregnant for the first time. Well, yeah, for the first time, and obviously she had Freya in September. And obviously Freya's now officially 3 months old. She was officially 3 months old yesterday on the 23rd. And both mother and baby are doing really well, which is good. But, hopefully fingers crossed we will be going back to the Yarmouth next year. I think we're talking about booking up for California Cliffs. Now, again, great memories of that holiday camp. I remember I've told this story before, but we got friendly with the Bluecoats. And I said to one of the Bluecoats, her name was Janine, and she loved meerkats. Now, at California Cliffs, just across the road from California, on the opposite side of the road to California Cliffs, there's an arcade there called Pimp Palace. Well, the Pimp Palace. And outside that arcade, there was this machine that had one of these rubber machines, and it had like all of the soft toy meerkats in it from the advert, like the meerkats from that advert compared to meerkat.com, that advert. And we had said to her that before we went home on the Saturday, we would try to get her a meerkat out of the machine. And it took us until the Friday to finally do it. We were down there every day trying to get her a meerkat out of the machine and weren't having any luck. Until the Friday before, which was the day before we were due to go home on the following morning, like on Saturday morning. So we managed to get the meat out of the machine. We took it into the nightclub that evening, and we gave it to Janine. And we were like, there we go, there you go. We've won you the meat out. Like, you know, this was one of the biggest sweaters of those rabbit machines. They're obviously fixed so that people can't win. Like the amount of the amount of money that you have to put into those machines to actually stand a chance of winning something. It's just mental, absolutely mental. Years ago, years ago when I used to do some of the apps, I used to do those. They used to there's those machines where you can get tickets out of the machines, and then once you collect up enough tickets, you can go up to them to the counter and get prizes with them. Now, that again, that's another scam, because for a decent price, you're looking at least anywhere between 10 and 20,000 tickets at the most for a decent, proper prize. And the problem is, if you're only there for about a week, you're not going to have enough time to actually collect that many tickets to get a decent prize. You would have to be there for at least 6 weeks, and you'd have to go into the arcade every single day and spend at least a few hours in there, collecting up enough tickets to actually get a decent prize. That's the only way you'd be able to do it. The prizes that you would get for like 400, 500 tickets was an absolute swizz, an absolute con. You would expect to get a decent prize for about 1,000 tickets, but nope. It was just unbelievable. And I stopped doing them in the end because I didn't see why I should why I should bother doing them when I was never getting enough tickets to actually claim a decent prize. And I feel like that that they do that deliberately, and I feel like they know that most people are only there for like a week or 2 weeks. So, and have no chance of actually claiming the decent prizes. They know there's only like a select few people there that are there for like the whole 6 weeks that actually stand a chance of winning them. I'd love to know if there is anyone that's actually somehow managed to claim enough tickets to to actually get a decent prize. I'm assuming there isn't. Because I would assume that it is, completely impossible unless you're there for like a number of weeks. Obviously California Cliffs was one that, it still stands as one of our favourite holiday campuses. It's one of the places we're looking to put up for next year. Hopefully we will get to put that up. I remember there used to be an ice cream parlour just around the corner from there. It's called Abigail's. I think it's still called Abigail's, but it's not owned by the same owners now. It's like owned by different people. And every year when we went away and we were staying at California Cliffs, we always said we have to stop off at Abigail's for an ice cream. And we always did that even if the weather wasn't brilliant. Like, as long as it was dry, we weren't that bothered about stopping off at the ice cream parlour for an ice cream. We would always do that. But, Abigail's was a lovely little place, and the ice creams you got from there were beautiful. I can't lie. Obviously, I think, how would we get to Yarmouth next year if we go? We would have to put a train, I think. We'd probably get the train from Stratford into Norwich, and then obviously we'd have to get another train from Norwich down that line into Yarmouth. And then we'd have to get a taxi from Yarmouth round to the campsite. It's obviously we can't walk. My nan has issues walking now anyway. She's got arthritis in her knees. So it'd be better for her if we got her rather than walking around to the campsite. I think that's obviously, I know with the holiday camps, I think if you book a more expensive caravan, like a gold standard caravan or a silver standard caravan, you get an earlier check-in. Like, that's a swizz, isn't it? That's at home to try and get people to pay more money. Or if you pay more money, you're getting earlier for a higher standard caravan. You get an earlier check-in. But if you pay the money, pay only a small amount of money for a standard bronze caravan, you have to check in at 4 o'clock. But you pay that extra money for a higher standard caravan and check in at 2 o'clock. Like, bullshit. Why should people just have to pay an extra bit of money for a higher standard caravan just for an early check-in? Shouldn't the earlier check-in is something that should apply, the 2 o'clock check-in is something that should apply to all flipping guests, no what caravan you have, whether it's a bronze, a silver, a gold, you should get a 2 p.m. check-in. The people that get the bronze caravan shouldn't have to check in 2 hours later than the others. I don't get how that's fair. How the people that order the bronze caravans have to check into their caravans 2 hours later than the others do when they order. They go for the higher standard caravans like the gold and silvers. Like, seriously. Like, why should what? That ain't fair. That's it. So, I mean, yeah, I would definitely go to California Hills. I mean, there have been a few negative reviews on that place, but you know what makes me laugh, right? Seeing some of the reviews, I've seen people complaining about dirty plates and cutlery, actually giving the holiday part as bad reviews because they had dirty plates and cutlery. Like, that's not the fault of the holiday camp. That's not the holiday camp's fault. That's the fault of the other people that are actually staying in that caravan before you were. If they obviously won't be bothered to actually clean the plates and cups and cutlery properly after they'd used them. So how can you give the holiday camp a bad review for something that isn't their fault? I've seen it with Foxtel as well, like, they do the same thing. It's madness. Then you've got, like, people complaining about, like, damaged furniture, or damaged doors or whatever. And it's like, again, that's down to the people that have been staying in the caravans, because they've obviously done the damage. They've obviously damaged the doors or damaged the furniture in some way. Because the sad truth is, when some people go away, They think they have that excuse to treat the caravans like they would treat their own places. Like, they treat the caravans like shit. They don't stop to think about the other people that will be checking into those caravans after they've been in them. And they don't care about keeping the caravans nice for the other people that have to stay in those caravans. They'd rather make as much mess as possible because they don't have to clear, but they know they don't have to clear it up. They know that their cleaners will clear that mess up. But, it doesn't matter whether, none of that matters. But having some respect, and treating treating the caravans with some respect. Don't treat the caravans the same way that you would treat your own place. It doesn't, that stands to reason. I have to say. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say on that. But yeah, obviously, hopefully 2025, fingers crossed, we'll be back in Great Yarmouth again next year. We'll be back in Great Yarmouth again for another holiday, our first family holiday in 6 years. And hopefully we'll be able to make some special memories like we have in previous years. This is just the thing, like, we have so many special memories of our holidays in years gone by. And we've never lost those memories, and it's like, it's weird now how since my granddad has passed away, those memories mean so much more to us, and they are so much more significant to us than they ever were before. and when I think about our memories that we have of our previous holidays, we will always look back on those memories and cherish those memories forever. You know, Great Yarmouth, for us as a family, will always be a very special place for us. You know, we will always have a lot of love for Great Yarmouth. We'll always, we've always said that if we had enough money, we'd, if we'd move anywhere, we'd move down to Great Yarmouth. Without a doubt. I'd love to buy one of those houses that are right on the Norfolk Broads. Like, that would just be amazing in the summer. Like, not so much in the winter, but in the summer it would be nice to just open your front door and sit outside and by the Norfolk Broad to just watch the boats going up and down the river every day. It would just be a lovely thing to see. And it must be so lovely for the people that actually get to experience that. For the people that actually live in those houses on the Norfolk Broads, to be able to see that every day. It's like the houses you see in Great Yarmouth are so much nicer than the houses that you see here in London. Like, the houses here in London are absolute shit tips compared to what you would see in Great Yarmouth. But then, for like 400 grand, you'd be getting a really nice, spacious house in Great Yarmouth. But over here, you're getting a shit tip for that money. Like, I would never buy a house here in London. Never. If I actually had the money to buy a property, I would buy one in Great Yarmouth. And I'd be saying ta-ta, and I'd be moving down there as soon as I could. I long for the day I have a little bit more money to move out. I have that money to move out of London. As soon as I had that money, I'd be gone. I wouldn't be sitting around here because there's nothing there. There's not really anything to sit around here for, apart from my family, of course. But, it's just like, there's no reason to live in London anymore. That's the thing, like, there really isn't. I feel like there's a much better reason to live in Great Yarmouth than there is to live in London. So I feel like Great Yarmouth has more to offer people than this shithole does. You won't pay me a tuppence to buy a place here in London. A place in Great Yarmouth, on the other hand, it'd pay me £1 million to buy a property there. I'd love to buy a property in Great Yarmouth and live down there in the summer. Absolutely, without a doubt. Obviously, not so much during the winter, because nothing's really open during the winter months, is it, to be honest? Because no one really goes down to the holiday camps during the winter. I don't even know if the holiday camps are actually open during, like, the Christmas season. I'm assuming some of them are. Like, we've never actually been away, but we have been away once for Christmas. We went to a hotel in Folkestone, which is in Kent. I don't remember the name of the hotel, but it was quite a nice one. But it was a bit more of like the elderly people, like old fogies rather than the kids. There wasn't much on there for the kids, really, to be honest. But yeah, definitely won't recommend booking a holiday in Great Yarmouth, but avoid Vauxhall Holiday Park at all costs. I hope you've enjoyed this little video, this big video today. I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.